Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's special edition of the COVID 19 update. Today, we had the announcement leaked by the government to the media of the announcement that will be made tomorrow afternoon about the further lockdown that will be imposed on the province of Quebec. I'm pissed because since March, every time the government announces some new, stricter measures of lockdown, they always lie to us. Like, for example, in March, it was 14 days to flatten the curve. It lasted 3 months and a half. In July, Legault said to avoid a second wave and second lockdown, we must understand that wearing a mask, that is what freedom is. Well, the second lockdown and second wave still came. On October 1st, he announced 28 days to flatten the curve, not to flatten the curve, sorry, 28 days to kill the second wave. Well, we're going into our fourth month. So, okay, they're using the fact that the hospitals are overwhelmed by COVID patients. Well, that is not the case. They are overwhelmed, but not by COVID patients. Because if we look at the numbers, there are 15,700 hospital beds in the general service and specialized short-term care hospitals across the province. Of those 15,700 beds, 1,000 of them are intensive care units beds. There is also a capacity of 3,000 ventilators in the province. And as of today, well, actually, as of yesterday, because today's numbers still haven't come out, we have 1,294 hospitalizations across the province. 188 of those are in intensive care. So, can we really say that it's COVID patients that are overwhelming the system? I don't think so. The World Health Organization, David Heyman from the World Health Organization, says that the virus is here to stay and will be endemic. And we must learn how to live with it. Gerald Evans from the Infectious Disease Department of Queen's University also says that SARS-CoV 2 will become seasonal, like the cold and the flu, and that lockdowns cannot be endless. So what have we had here in Quebec? Take out the span of 3 months in the summer, we've had endless lockdowns. That obviously don't work. Continuing, about the excuse of the travelers that they are using for the rise in cases. Dr. Benoit Massé from the Public Health School at University of Montreal says travelers are not to blame and that the majority of the new cases come from community spread, that it is spreading at home between family members. Because obviously the lockdown is keeping the family bubbles closer together because you can't go anywhere. So you're staying longer time at home with your family, giving the virus more time to spread inside that house within your family. Dr. Marc Brisson from University of Laval agrees with Dr. Benoit Massé that travelers are not to blame and that the spread is coming through the community. Some more. A little anecdote that was reported in the media in the past week. A nurse from Quebec gets her 3-week vacation, decides to go 1 week down south and use her other 2 weeks to quarantine before going back to work. Once she returned, she is called to come back in early. She tells them she can't because she went down south, so she needs to isolate for 2 weeks. You know what they told her? No, you have to come back because healthcare workers don't have to quarantine. are not obliged to quarantine. So, healthcare workers who work with the most vulnerable population to this virus is not obliged to quarantine once coming back into the country. How does that logical or make any sense? Some more. Here we go. Marie Benoit, writing in Le Devoir, she is a philosopher, a doctor in philosophy, says that Quebecers that do respect the lockdown measures are fed up with the ones that don't, calling them delinquents. Next will probably be criminals. She also says living in a society has responsibility, and if they don't obey, that Trudeau and Legault should get together and act as fast as possible. I'm paraphrasing here. I smell the approach of a police state. This is my opinion. Which we're already very close to. Like, for example, I saw this week the cops on St. Sauveur Mountain continuously checking if the children are correctly wearing their mask. They stayed there all day doing this. Don't cops have better things to do? Like, I don't know, catch rapists or find murderers? I think they do. So, if the problem is the people that don't obey, what is the solution, I ask? What can we do with these people, right? Because that's basically what they're telling us. Well, I think I have an idea of where they're going with this. Because in the state of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has put forth a law that will allow him to detain anyone he deems a public health risk during the pandemic. So anybody that he deems a public health risk would be probably people he thinks do not respect his measures, right? The law would also permit forced vaccinations and detention of those refusing to vaccinate during a pandemic. So, folks, we are moving towards this, a police state, and what I would call, maybe the government wouldn't call that, but that's what I would call it, re-education camps. So the people that are not docile enough and that don't obey can go to these camps and learn how to be more docile and obey the measures put forth by this authoritarian government. And I'm not mincing my words. Our government is becoming authoritarian. Some sort of sanitary dictatorship, sorry. That's what's happening. Not a political dictatorship, a sanitary dictatorship. Because the emergency, the state of emergency, the sanitary state of emergency was declared by the government without being voted in parliament, and was declared by the government endless when it's specific in the law that the state of emergency must be approved by vote by parliament every 30 days when it is extended, which is not happening here in Quebec. So that's what I mean by sanitary dictatorship. So I'm really pissed after the announcement of today. Well, the announcement that will be made later on. Because obviously there has been proven, and I have proven this and shown these proofs in past posts that I've shared, studies that I've shared, and that I've talked about on my daily or weekly updates on COVID-19. So to end this update, I will suggest for you guys to go check the Rockefeller Foundation Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development. Just go read it. It's up. It's on their website. Just go on Google and search what I've just said, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a little homework for you guys to go check out, since we're going to be in lockdown, for severe lockdown, full lockdown for the next month or so. So there's some homework for you to go read. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.